Today, we're talking about why RAG, meaning Retrieval Augmented Generation, is so important for modern AI systems. Large language models are very powerful and they can help you solve a variety of problems and solve a variety of business tasks. But they have at least one serious limitation. They don't know your internal data. That means internal documents, maybe internal knowledge scattered around your company, and so on. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are working on a problem inside of your business and it's a regular off the shelf model, something like ChatGPT or Claude. You ask it a question about something inside of your business and it simply doesn't know the answer. And it actually can get even worse than this. At best, it might just give you a vague answer, but in many cases, it's going to hallucinate. Models, if they don't know the right answer, very frequently just make stuff up. So at best, you get a vague answer. Slightly worse is you get an incorrect answer. And worse than that, a model just makes something up that sounds convincing. What's going on here? Why does this happen? Large language models, when they're being developed, are trained typically using very general data. Data that is from the internet, Wikipedia, maybe some books or open source documents that they can get. Although LLMs are trained on very large amounts of data, it tends to be information that is open and available on the internet or from other available sources. So these general models that have undergone this training phase, we sometimes call these foundation models, have general knowledge, but they often lack specific knowledge from private and proprietary sources. Having said that, there are a couple of ways to get around this. And one of the primary ways is adding something that we call context. You're probably at least a little bit familiar with this. If you go to a system like ChatGPT or Claude, you can type in information inside of the window. We often call this the context window. And you can type in additional information about your problem, the nature of the problem. You can attach important documents. You can give the large language model additional information, additional context to help it provide an answer that is more tailored to your needs. That's a general example of something larger that we call context engineering or just simply adding additional context. Now, you can do that, as I said, you can do that manually by typing things in and adding that, providing it sort of by hand to a large language model. But there's also a way to do that programmatically with a system. And the specific system that I have in mind here is something that we call RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Let me very quickly explain. With RAG, what we do is we take important context and important information, things like documents, maybe emails, books, contracts, SOPs, and so on, and we store that information in a special kind of database. Now, there's some data processing and some other things that need to be done. I'll talk about that separately another time in a separate video, but we take these documents and we store them in a specialized database. Then we give access to that database to our LLM. So when we build an AI system that uses RAG, we have an AI system, then we give it access to this specialized database. And when we send a request or send a prompt or a query to the AI system, it, when necessary, can go to that database and retrieve relevant information from the database that can help answer the question or perform the task. By the way, if you're interested in building powerful AI systems that can skyrocket your business success, take our AI transformation assessment. It's only 15 questions. It'll take you less than 5 minutes. It's free and it's going to score you on 3 major areas that will help you understand your readiness to start using AI in your business and get powerful results. Click the link in the description and take our AI readiness assessment. So when you use RAG alongside of your AI system, it has access to the relevant information about your business or your problems or what you needed to know about your specific circumstances. So then to go back to the problem that I highlighted towards the beginning of this video, you ask a large language model a question, you ask it about something that wasn't in its training data. With a RAG system, that doesn't matter as much. You can ask the AI system or the large language model a question, and if it's not in its training data, if you use an AI model that's attached to a RAG system, then that doesn't matter as much because the AI system can go to your database, use the RAG system, retrieve relevant information, augment your query, and then generate a response. And that's why we call it RAG, Retrieval-Augmented Generation. So in this circumstance, once you have a RAG system set up, your model is going to hallucinate less. It's going to give you better answers, more complete answers, more accurate responses, and so on. So if you're building AI systems, especially systems that are supposed to operate inside of a business and have access to your internal information, you need to understand RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. That said, if you're serious about building powerful AI systems in your business, RAG is really just one part. It's one component among many. That's why you need to check out this next video that's going to cover more details about modern AI architectures, including things like RAG, but quite a bit more. You can check it out here. AI Architecture Explained.